Hello and welcome back to Suspended Information. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Before I get started, of course, I'm going to take care of a little business and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. And also, I change it out every week, by the way, that schedule. I also have the links to all my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier sip in the Patreon. Basically, I'm waiting till I hit 1,000 subscribers so that when you guys give me money, I can give you something. I also have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Welcome, everybody. So let's start off with the news that so Peter Stormare, who of course played a very excellent Lucifer in the 2005 Keanu Reeves version of Constantine, uh, put out an Instagram post saying that they're making a sequel. The sequel is in the works to the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, which I thought was kind of interesting. I know that Keanu Reeves had been talking about it, say that, yeah, he would play it again, but I didn't know that Warner Bros. Usually what ends up happening is all this news that comes out, it's a couple of months down the line of actually what's already been happening behind the scenes. So someone will leak out a little bit of news to kind of get a feeler for how the public feels about it. And so most likely they're pretty far along. They most likely have a script already, maybe even a couple of revisions of that script already, and are kind of actively looking at it to roll it in production. So don't be surprised if you hear about it going to production in the next couple of months. Yeah, that's usually how this stuff goes. So Raymond K. Hessel says, dude, remember I just asked about Constantine a little while ago? Yeah, and remember I just did a Is It Worth My Time? Constantine. Yeah. Kind of prophetic, I guess you could say. Well, actually that came about because of that news that Keanu Reeves said he'd be interested in doing a sequel to this. So that's why it was in my mind. And then I saw that it was on a streaming channel and I watched it. I own it. I mean, I have it on DVD, but still, yeah. Not too big of a coincidence. It's out there. So also, Umbrella Academy has been renewed for a third season at Netflix, which you know what this means. According to Netflix rules, this is the last season of Umbrella Academy because it is the third season. It could go where, it does the Sabrina treatment and gets a fourth and final season. But, Netflix is unforgiving. They want new content all the time and they cancel stuff. But yes, it's getting a third season here. Which is good because they left it on a huge cliffhanger and they need to wrap some shit up. Yeah. I will be happy to see what they do with this one. I still don't like Ellen Page. I don't know. There's something about her performance that just kind of rubs me wrong. But sure, that's the only gripe I have about the entire series. It's a minor one. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. So, for those of you of a certain age, it's beyond me. Darkwing Duck is getting a reboot at Disney Plus with Seth Rogen and his writing partner, of course, Evan Goldberg, producing. I don't know how any of you feel about that. I'm okay with it. I mean, again, like I said, I was too old for that when it came out. I know this is more of a 90s kids thing. And yeah, mm, I probably could have watched it at one point in time, but I don't think I had the Disney Channel at that point, and I wasn't about to you know, spring for that in the package in order to watch it. Yeah. But yes, it's going to Disney Plus. And speaking of Disney Plus, since we're out there, Raymond K has says Seth Rogen, is Darkwing going to be a pothead? Possibly. He could be a foul mouth pothead too. Who knows? Uh, So Disney Plus right now is hitting its 1 year anniversary. I believe it was last month, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe yeah, I think it was last month. So it's just announced that they have hit a little over 73 million subscribers. That's within a year. That's actually pretty damn good considering that Netflix has worldwide, and of course, this is worldwide. Netflix has around 120, 130 million subscribers, and they've been around forever, like, a long, 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 long time. Even before the whole streaming stuff, they were doing, the whole DVD delivery thing and all that stuff. So they've been around for a while. So to have 73 million subscribers in 1 year's time, a little over 73 million subscribers, is fucking amazing. And they do have some good content in there. Everyone always asks me, is it worth it? And I'm like, yeah, especially if you get the package deal where you just pay up front and you get an extra year for free. Then yes, it's definitely worth it. What else do we have here? Oh yeah. So James Wan, his next producing thing, I guess you could say, is he's producing a horror movie. Nothing really said about it other than it's a horror movie set in post-apocalyptic Los Angeles, whatever that might be. So, um, do you and so I don't know. James Wan does some good stuff, but for the most part, like his horror stuff doesn't really wow me, like Annabelle and The Conjuring and whatnot. And I know other people like this stuff, but for me, I'm just kind of like, whatever. But this one supposedly might have some monsters involved in it. I don't know. So it might be kind of a monster horror movie. I might give that one a shot, you know. Keith Hamilton says, do you ever think we'll see get a Gargoyles reboot? I don't know. I know that the all the original cast, the original animators and all that do want to do a reboot of it, or at least a continuation of it or something like that. They've all been on record within this year of saying they would do it. And honestly, we're in a pandemic. This would have been the perfect time for them to do it. I mean, it's an animated show. You could have done all the scripts, the animation, the voice work. You could have done that all remotely without having to have people come in and do anything together, because it's animated, of course. Animators work by themselves. Yeah, that's what happens. So that would have been a perfect thing for them to do. I'm sure that they're working on something. It's Disney. They need money, especially since Disneyland is closed and Disney World, I think, is at 30% capacity, is what they said now. And yeah, so they're hurting for money just on that end because they're losing. I think they said the conservative estimate is probably around like $2 billion this year, somewhere around there. They're losing a shit ton of money. Let's just say that. And also, they can't release their movies in theaters because theaters are closed. You know, yeah. So that would be the way to go. And I also read something else too, since we're talking about Disney. Um, that most likely we're going to start seeing a lot more of those $30 movies popping up on Disney Plus, kind of like what happened with Mulan. I think Mulan was I guess you could say, the canary in the coal mine to see how things would go. And we might see Black Widow most likely coming out on Disney Plus for a $30 price tag. Uh, pretty much everything else that Disney's putting out because they need the money. And quite honestly, I keep saying this, I will pay the $30 for Black Widow as long as I get to own a digital copy. Not a digital copy that's only good on Disney Plus, but I want a digital copy that's going to be outside of Disney Plus. That'll be my stickler on that. Because if they're gonna just gonna do it where you can only watch it on Disney Plus, then I'm like, I can wait the 2, 3 months, something like that, where you release it on DVD, and then I'll buy it on DVD. It's the same price, quite honestly. Not a big deal. So Chris Pratt has joined the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder, which makes sense because where we saw Thor at where we last saw Thor, he was joining up with the Guardians of the Galaxy and taking off on the Milano. So yeah, it makes sense that we're going to see him in Thor: Love and Thunder because Chris Pratt has been having some social media issues lately, and yeah, they want to clean up his image a little bit more. And I'm going to tell you right now, this news this week has been kind of drab and boring. I don't know if there's something big coming up or what, but it's been bottom of the barrel kind of news, unfortunately. There's been some interesting things like, the Keanu Reeves Constantine thing, but for the most part, yeah, this week's been kind of dull. Yeah, sorry, but that's just the way it is. I'm trying to liven it up, really. The CW is going to be spinning off Painkiller, the character Painkiller, from Black Lightning into his own series. So, if you had watched Black Lightning at all, Painkiller was a love interest of one of Black Lightning's daughters, and he ended up paralyzed from the waist down from a bullet, and then had an experiment done on him that gave him the ability to walk again, but also gave him superpowers, and then also uh, they did something else to him where he can actually inject poison into people's bodies with these little darts that come out of his hands and whatnot. And they turned him into a killer for a little while there. And now he's back to because they put a program in him. So now he's taken over that program, locked it away. He still fights with it every now and then, but he has remorse over all the stuff that he's done. And now he wants to go away from Freeland and go to a different city. And that's where this whole spinoff takes place. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the character honestly can carry their own show, but we'll see. And quite honestly, it reminded me a lot of if you ever watched or ever read, I should say, the Marvel comic Deathlock, which was a guy that has been his conscious or his brain has been put into the body of a cyborg killing machine, and he actually has to he becomes a superhero eventually, but he has to fight the programming that's inside the cybernetic body in order to stop it from doing whatever it's been programmed to do. And so he fights back and forth with it. We had Deathlock appear in Marvel's Agent of Shield briefly. It was a really bad version of it, but still, it was there. And the comic book version was so much better, but that's pretty much what it's like. Only he shoots darts that have poison in them. WandaVision. We finally got a premiere date for WandaVision. WandaVision is going to premiere on January 15th on Disney Plus. This is awesome because I also just read something when I was kind of looking at stuff online for stories and whatnot. The weird thing was that WandaVision was all filmed before a live studio audience. So they can get that whole sitcom feel, which I thought was very weird, but also kind of cool at the same time. I'm wondering how this thing is going to play out. It's got me very interested as to how this Marvel property is going to go. It's their first foray into TV on Disney Plus. I mean, we've had other stuff that's been. This is the new Marvel TV, by the way. It's under the Marvel Studios banner, and we're going to see how this goes. I'm guessing it's going to go a lot better than like shit like Hellstrom or Marvel's Agents of Shield or the Inhumans, Iron Fist, Iron Fist season 2, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Raymond K. Hessel says kind of like Upgrade. No, not really. Upgrade's different. Yeah. Yes, I know you want Loki more, Pen, but Loki's not coming out till I think the end of next year is what they're saying. I think that's what it is. I think it's the end of next year. I can't remember what's coming out before that. If it's I think it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, it's supposed to be WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then I think it's Loki. Yeah. And I know Hawkeye's in there someplace too, but they're still, you know, casting people like, directors and principal photographers, and who knows if Jeremy Renner is still going to be in it or not by this time. We'll see. I think they're still just waiting for his all his news to die down still. It's still pretty fresh. So yeah, with the whole the cancel culture stuff that's going on, he was on the bubble. He was fairly close on the bubble there. So we'll see what happens. And speaking of Disney Plus, there's a lot of Disney Plus movies, Disney Plus news that was going on this week. There's going to be a live action Lilo and Stitch movie. It's in the works right now. And right now, in the talks to direct it is Crazy Rich Asians director John M. Chu. Um, I've gone on record before. Yeah, I don't like these live action versions of the animated movies. They're not worth it, quite honestly. Aladdin, I still haven't seen. I heard it's just garbage. Beauty and the Beast, from what I understand, has just gone away from the public's mind. Of course, we had Mulan that's come and gone, and I don't know. I mean, it'll be for free on Disney Plus Mulan next month. Yeah, next month it'll be free, so we can all watch it or not to see how bad it was. Why are they doing this? Pen money. They know it's a proven property, and instead of releasing it on DVD like they used to for every generation, they would release it on video or DVD or anything like that. Now what they're doing is just remaking it. Yeah. You got talked into watching Beauty and the Beast? I'm sorry. Hopefully they got you alcohol, you know, for that as well. Although I don't know if there's enough alcohol in the world that would get me to watch it. I take that back. There probably is enough alcohol in the world, but I'd probably be dead from drinking it intravenously. I don't do the butt chugging thing. No, I leave that to Warner Brothers executives and Coke. All right. So here's an interesting news. Um, so the beginning of this last actually the week before, and I kind of skipped over it a little bit because it flew under the radar. Not a lot of people were talking about it, but there was another Time Warner Media culling, if you will, and a lot of it happened in DC Media. Um, so DC Comics, there was a lot of it was being called DC Bloodbath Part 2. And one of the casualties in that was Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns, of course, was the chief creative officer over at Disney or DC, and he is now the former chief creative officer at DC. But he is now releasing a new comic called Geiger over at Image Comics. So he was working on this in secret with an artist of his, an artist friend of his, also at DC, who also was let go. And this was kind of a side project they were working on, and it's done, and they're going to be releasing it at Image Comics in April. Yeah. Popeye Pliskin says Jeff Johns sounds like a superhero alias. So it's Geoff. So it's even worse on the spelling for Jeff on that one. Popeye. So yes, it is a superhero alias. I met him. He's okay. Yeah. Oh, Dan Stevens was actually in Beauty and the Beast, Pen? I didn't even know that. Yeah. That sounds horrible. I don't think I could do it. I really don't. Maybe if drugs were involved, I don't know. But then I'd probably be unconscious or dead. Um, yeah, so over at Netflix, Schwarzenegger is going to go and do a series over at Netflix. It's a spy series, a globe-trotting spy series with a father-daughter storyline to it. So his daughter is going to be played by, this woman who is gonna be in the new, Top Gun sequel, the Maverick sequel that's supposed to be coming out whenever that's coming out, or did it come out already? I don't remember. I think I might have slept through it, or maybe I was sick that day that it came out. I don't know. And, yes, he is going to be starring in that over at Netflix. Is there gonna be a follow-up to True Lies, Pen? I wish, but no. Cameron's too busy working on Avatars, 2 through 45 right now, so it's not gonna True Lies 2 will never happen. And also Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't think is ever gonna return to that. Yeah. That would have been nice if they had just gone straight into True Lies 2, but no, Cameron dropped the ball. He ended up deciding to go and do deep sea diving and, go and take a look at the Titanic, and then he got really involved in all of that, and yeah. Yeah, they could get Eliza Dushku back as his daughter and everything, but no, they're bringing in so Eliza Dushku on that film, probably wouldn't return anyway. Uh, there was some stuff that happened. I'll let you Google it, and you guys can, uh, find out what her allegations are on that. But it wasn't a happy time for her on that set, let's just say. Yeah. Philip A. Demick says, "Is there anyone good, about TwitchCon today?" I don't even know at TwitchCon what's going on. Mhm. Exactly, Popeye. You got it on the nose right there. That is what was going on. So, let's see. I don't have that too many more things going on right now. This is going to be probably a short one today. So, today's new episode of Teen Titans Go is going to have a crossover with Freakazoid. So this has been like 20 some odd years in the making. They had talked about this for a while of doing a crossover with Freakazoid, and it's finally happened. So today's episode of Teen Titans Go is actually going to have that crossover. I'm probably going to try and find it because, quite honestly, Freakazoid was a fun cartoon when it was out in the 90s, and Teen Titans Go is actually pretty fucking funny. If you ever get a chance to go to Comic Con, and I'm sure they'll be doing this until they die for the most part. The cast of Teen Titans Go always has a panel. It's very understated, and it's probably the funnest panel you'll ever go to, quite honestly. It's one of those things where they all sit up there, and it's not just about Teen Titans Go. They're talking about anything and everything, and they're doing voices, and they're joking around, and it's fun. You would think, okay, this is going to be for kids. It's really good for kids and adults. So the person I was with at the time was a curmudgeon and still is, and didn't believe me. We went in and had like one of the best times there. So yeah. Hey, Klaus MP4, how's it going? Do you sound good, Klaus? I'm sorry. I know. I was trying to think of a good MP4 joke and it just wasn't coming to mind. So, but yeah, Teen Titans Go is just a fun fucking panel, and the show is actually fun too. And if you haven't seen it, there's a Teen Titans Go movie, which I believe is on HBO Max right now, and it's Teen Titans Go to the Movies. And Nicolas Cage has a voice. Everyone and their mother has a voice cameo in there at some point in time. and it's hilarious, and it sends up every superhero trope you can think of. You got time travel, you've got yeah, you got superheroes, villains, movies. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. It really is. I've watched it a couple of times now just because it's that good. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Philip A. Demick says, I did like The Mandalorian, but I'm getting tired of the strong female. Why? That's just, it is how it is, man. You have that. It's not all the time. Stop feeling so threatened, man. So, a Scorpion King reboot is in the works with Dwayne Johnson producing. He is not going to star in this. He's actually just going to be producing it, and they're going to reboot it. Yeah. Okay. I honestly, the first Scorpion King movie was kind of a guilty pleasure, I guess you could say. And then after that, they just got to be ridiculous. Just it was going direct to DVD, and what was it? Arnold Vosloo was playing him at that point, and I think that was it, or somebody else. I don't know. It just got to be really bad after a while. We're talking like even worse than Skinamax kind of late night stuff. So yeah, that's the reason why they need to reboot it. But I don't see the need to. I mean, the character wasn't that exciting to begin with, and yeah, it's essentially Assassin's Creed but dumbed down a lot and set in the desert in Egypt. Yeah. Keith Hamilton says, "Yeah, laugh out loud. Scorpion King had that bad '90s CGI. Yeah, it did. Well, the Mummy, the was it the second Mummy that had the Scorpion King in it? That was when The Rock was starting to get into acting, and he kept doing the "I smell something bad" face. The I can't even do it because he does it where the eyebrow arches up because he was always doing the stupid eyebrow arch, and then something that smelled bad every time he turned around, and I would laugh. I mean, I remember being in the theater when that happened, and I was just laughing my ass off because it looked really funny. Well, I guess it's better than Ryan Gosling's, expressions. Happy, sad, excited, annoyed. Yeah, at least Dwayne Johnson was trying to emote, even though it was just one emotion. And finally, the last thing I've got here, Bloodshot 2 is on the way. That's right. A sequel to Bloodshot with Vin Diesel is coming to a theater near you. Well, it's actually in the works right now. Why? I don't know, quite honestly. The first movie didn't make a ton of money. I think they might have broke even, maybe even a little less. Excuse me, but Valiant, of course, Valiant Comics that owns the rights to Bloodshot. They've been trying to make movies, and of course, they put this one out during the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic, and they are figuring, oh well, we'll do another one. So, and I will not buy the sequel. No, Pen, I will not buy the sequel. Yeah. Let's see. Penn says Philip Katie has been a strong feel. Yeah. hmm Philip A. Demick says, speaking of Assassin's Creed, I was really upset about the swatting at Ubisoft yesterday. Yeah. So I know people that used to work there, uh, who still have friends that work there, and so they were kind of pissed off about it too. So yeah. Make sure you reserve your digital copy, Dennis. Thanks, Keith. Yeah. Bloodshot 2. This time it'll be better. Yeah. Popeye Pliskin says most of the theaters by me have closed down. Pretty sad. Um, yeah, around here, the theaters, I mean, quite honestly, they've always been on their last legs, and they haven't been the nicest of theaters to begin with. We have a few AMCs, and AMC, I guess, is now doing the whole, you can rent our theater out for $90 or $100. Just get some friends together and we'll show you an old movie that you can probably find on IMDb or on some kind of streaming service for free, but we'll show it to you in the theater that hasn't been properly fumigated or deconned or anything like that. So, Raymond K. Hessel says, you hear Vin Diesel's new song? I heard about it. I haven't heard it itself. So, yeah. Nor am I about to. I just can't do it. Yeah. So, sorry, I just had to do a little editing there for a second. That's all it was. That's all I got news-wise. What are you guys watching right now during the pandemic? What have you switched over to, I should say? I still haven't gotten to Blood Zeus before anyone asks. It's sitting in my queue. I just haven't gotten to it. I started watching last night on Netflix. For some reason, I went down a hole of Skin Wars, the one where they are doing body painting. It's kind of like the old sci-fi channel series about the special effects makeup competition. It's the same producers and all that stuff. It's just body painting. And it's the same drama, the same setup, all that shit. So I kind of fell down that rabbit hole last night. Yeah. I watched like the first 3 episodes and I'm like, oh, I don't need to watch this anymore. Yeah. I was just trying to, unwind, relax. So I still have to go back again and watch the Mandalorian episode again. The last one. Because it's just so damn good. It really was. But other than that, yeah, not really much going on. Hey, Stanley. You're not the only one, Stanley. Yeah, let me go over everything all from the beginning again. So, to top everything off from the beginning, not going to happen. Yeah. That's what rewind buttons are for, boys and girls. There's a little rewind button down here someplace. Yeah. Philip A. Demick says, I'm only watching The Mandalorian and The Outpost. Okay. I haven't gotten into The Outpost. I just couldn't. Yeah, I really couldn't. Popeye says, when will the Mandalorian learn everyone double crosses him and tries to steal his armor? Yeah, you would think by now that he would actually learn that, you're wearing basically what you're doing is you're walking around with gold on you and people are going to try and kill you for it and take it from you because you're just advertising what the fuck you have on. Yeah. Raymond says, I just got the BSG Blu-rays and I'm halfway through. Okay. Yeah. Penn says the Mando was great, even though I'm not familiar with the history. Yeah, that's why I did a very, very, very brief recap. It seems like it was a lot longer than what it was, but it really wasn't that long of a recap of what happened in the Clone Wars and also what happened in Star Wars Rebels. And I would highly suggest to anyone who's curious about it, go and watch it. It's good stuff. If you like The Mandalorian, you're going to like Clone Wars, you're going to like Rebels. You really are. Like I said, both are slow to start off with, but in the early, the first season, but then it picks up. But you don't need to go through the entire seasons in order to get everything. You can still just cherry pick the Mandalorian episodes out of both of those. There, it says it. You can see it in the thumbnails for it on Disney Plus. You have all the thumbnails of Mandalorians flying or fighting and whatnot. Yeah. Oh yeah, skip the Jar Jar episodes. Definitely, the Jar Jar episodes are just horrible. as are the droid episodes. Oh my god, there's one segment in there. It's like 4 or 5 episodes of nothing but droids, and fuck, that's boring. That's like one of the worst segments of Clone Wars. And you could tell that Filoni wasn't even on it. He like checked out on that one. Someone else had written him, and he was going off doing something else. I think he was doing Rebels at the time or writing Rebels. And he was like, "Here, you take this." And they gave it to like the third string writer. And it was bad, like really, really bad. Philip says, "I'm looking forward to this season of Curse of Oak Island." Spoiler, they find the treasure and the world ends. Oh my god. Is that what happened? Yeah. Don't get me started on the Curse of Oak Island, man. That shit. Because it used to be on right before Project Blue Book. So I would have it on so that I could make sure that I caught the beginning of Project Blue Book. And because what I was doing was I was streaming it through my laptop, and then I hooked the laptop up to the TV so I could watch it and hear it, you know. And and I was setting up for Project Blue Book at the time too, because I was going straight into a this right after Project Blue Book would end. And my God, that show just was fucking boring. It still is. Next time on Oak Island, they find what could be a nail, but might actually just be another piece of wood. And we're going to spend 40 minutes on it with lots and lots of commercial breaks and dramatic music and voices that sound like this to make it sound more dramatic than it actually is. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, "I skipped the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars like I did with TNG." I skipped all 7 seasons of TNG. Oh, I'm sorry. Popeye Pliskin says, "I love how they're incorporating Clone Wars Rebel stuff into the Mandalorian." Well, yeah, I mean, it's Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. So Jon Favreau was in the Clone Wars. He is Pre Vizsla. He voices him, one of the Mandalorians who, of course, sets up Death Watch. And as a matter of fact, Jon Favreau voices the Mandalorian gunner, who's right behind me here. He voices that character even though he's not in the armor in the Mandalorian, and that guy's name is Vizsla as well. So he's most likely of the clan Vizsla, a part of the Death Watch. Now that we know that, Mando is part of the Death Watch clan. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Raymond says, if you like creepy, there's a Skinwalker Ranch show on the History Channel. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard it's also not that great, but and this is from people who know about the Skinwalker Ranch history and all that are really into it. They're like, it's not good. But I'm not into it, so I don't know. Popeye Pliskin says, "Remember the Colony on Discovery Channel about 10 years ago? That was the best reality ever." Oh, yeah. That was the one about what would happen if society collapsed, and they put together like 4 or 5 people who have different skill sets, and they need to compete in competitions to, either fend off invaders or get water running, fresh water running, all that kind of stuff. I remember that. That was actually kind of a interesting show. They were throwing anything and everything at the wall on Discovery Channel at that point. That was when MythBusters was in its prime. Penn says, "Dennis, my friend's brother still works on Oak Island. His daughter named her baby Oakley Annie." Oh my God. That is a fairly unfortunate child. Yeah. Stanley says, "I watched a few episodes of those seasons. Looked it up on the internet, what not to skip." Okay. Stanley says, "But the racist episode in season 1 of TNG is so cringy." I don't remember it. But then again, it's been since like what was the 80s when that came out. I don't think I've gone back to watch any of it. Yeah, I still just go back and watch the old series, the original series of Star Trek, and the movies, of course. Con. Yeah. I was just thinking about it because I had to move my DVDs. So my DVDs used to be on one of these bookshelves here when I was in the other room, and so when I moved my bookshelves into this room and set everything up, I took the DVDs off. I'm going to build shelves for them and all that stuff, some custom shelves, and so I had to move them from one area to another, and yeah. Raymond K. Hessel says, "Did you cover the Clone Wars finale?" Yes, I did. I covered the last season of the Clone Wars, Raymond. If you take a look in the uh, my playlists, I actually have a whole Clone Wars playlist in there. As a matter of fact, the very last episode, something happened to my internet connection and it crapped out. I had to delete it, and then I did one, by myself and just uploaded it. Came out fairly decent, I think. Popeye Plissken says, "I like the original Star Trek when they go to that planet that's based on their whole society on 1930s Chicago." Oh, the gangsters. Yeah, the gangster one was kind of funny. Yeah, you could always tell they're like, what can we use on the back lot today? 1930 Chicago gangster movies. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm close to 500 videos now on here. And everything is organized by playlists. So there's a general podcast playlist, which is every single video that I've done. And then of course it goes by, every video that I've put in, I've put it in its own different section, shall we say. But every single video is in one gigantic podcast section. Because there are people who just like playing it for some reason and listening to my voice. And so they just keep it on and going and going and going. Yeah. Hey, Marks, how's it going? Do you want me to start all over again from the beginning too, Marks? I mean, this will only be the fourth time that I'll start over from the beginning, but I'll do it for you. All right, so let's do this all over again. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. I kid. I'm not doing that. No, it has been a running joke lately today, Marks. Yes, you are like the third person who's popped in and, start all over again from the beginning. What did I miss? It's called rewind. Please be kind and rewind. Yeah. Just so you know, in the future, so if you pop in and ask me what I missed, I'm probably not going to acknowledge you on that one. And I'm just going to skim over yours. And you keep asking multiple times in the chat, I will most likely put you in a timeout, only just because it's annoying. And it's not being disrespectful or anything, because asking someone to go back over material that they've already gone over again in a live stream is kind of disrespectful to begin with. So, yeah. You never did. No, Marks. I'm just saying for other people that are out there. This isn't directed at you, Marks. It's directed at Movie Finobi. Only because he's not here to defend himself. Yeah. I don't know, Mark or Stanley. I don't know what it's going to be. He actually did last week, Penn. He actually did come in last week and do it. I like to say he would never, but he did. I think he was joking, but I'm not sure. You never know sometimes with him. I mean, Yeah. Well, there's really just one person who does it all the time. So, yeah, you know who you are. I'm not naming names. You can go back through the chat and take a look yourself. Please let Constantine be R-rated to do it justice. Yeah, and let him smoke for fuck's sake. Hopefully they can get Sheila Booth back too as Chaz. Man, no, they don't. Can you imagine how fucked up that would be? With Sheila Booth having all the mental issues he's got going on now. No, God. Uh, yeah. It's 2020, it could happen. It's only 2020 for, like, another month and a half, Pen, so don't jinx it. Um, Stanley Twill says, "I did not like the Constantine actor in the CW series." Really? You don't like Matt Ryan? So, the CW series is not the one to base Matt Ryan's performance on, Stanley. Go and take a look at the NBC series that he started in, which was a serious version of Constantine. It's just he did such a good job in the serious version of it that they brought him over into the CW. That's where you need to start with. And that is, well, it used to be on DC Universe. I think it might be on HBO Max now. I don't know for sure. Yeah. He does have a real British accent, Stanley, but he exaggerates the accent. So that might be what's pissing you off, is it's a Brit doing a fake British accent. It was the same thing that Anthony Stewart Head on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He actually has more of a so the guy who's playing Spike was actually doing Anthony Stewart Head's real accent, and then Anthony Stewart Head was doing a fake British accent, even though he has his own British accent. Yeah. Yeah, Morks. So what happened was, I think with Friday the 13th being in 2020, it just kind of canceled each other out. And just went, and yeah, it just became a normal day, which was interesting. Yes, he does do all the Justice League Dark animation voiceovers as well. You're correct, Raymond. Yeah. Two negatives just cancel each other out like that. Doesn't become a positive, it just becomes neutral. It's called neutral chaos. Oh man. Don't even tempt it, Stanley. So, since we're devolving into madness anyway, I want to thank everyone who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you want to know what's going to be happening, well, if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button there. And if you can, while you're down there, if you get the like button and the share button as well. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance that YouTube notifies you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedanimation.com, take a look at the schedule there, and also all the links to my social media and all the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So Popeye says, "I'm surprised they haven't rebooted Buffy the Vampire Slayer already. They reboot. They're probably going to be working on it, but Joss Whedon's having his own issues at the moment. And he owns the rights, I believe, to that. Or is it Warner Brothers? I think actually Warner Brothers owns the rights to that, so that could be the holdup right there. Is that Warner Brothers? Warner Brothers is stupid with their properties. I mean, just stupid with their properties. They fucked them up at the drop of a hat. I mean, look at Superman. You had Henry Cavill, who does an awesome job as Superman, and you hire Zack Snyder to fucking do. Yeah. Ugh. Man, you have Batman for God's sake, and yeah, yeah, yeah. You could actually do Buffy fairly well. You don't even need to do a reboot. You can do a continuation, and you can have Sarah Michelle Gellar come back, and she hands the baton off. We already kind of had a handing off of the baton anyway when she had all these Slayers that came about, and you could do that. I mean, you could always bring it back to that, where you have a network of Slayers around the world. Yeah. And that's right, Penn, there was the additional seasons for the comics in the comics, which got just really fucking wacky at one point. Yeah, you don't need to bring in Spike or Angelus or anything like that either. Yeah. Yeah, David Boreanaz is he's doing some weird military show now. I don't know what it is. I just happen to catch something that he's doing it. But yeah, and James Marsters was on The Runaways until it got canceled. And he was good on that one. I mean, I actually wanted to see more of the parents, the evil parents than I did the kids. That was the only thing that was good about that. Plus, he played Piccolo in the live action Dragon Ball movie. Oof. Less said about that one, the better. Is it SEAL Team that he's on, Popeye? Okay. Is that what it is? I don't know. It's some jingoistic thing I'm not going to watch. Yeah. Philip A. Demick says a good story would be Buffy asks Angel and Spike to talk her daughter out of becoming a Slayer. Uh, you already have a network of Slayers. That's how they ended the series anyway. You could have them already be organized and then have someone within the organization is killing Slayers. Yeah. You're welcome, Morks. It's the gift that keeps on giving, the Dragon Ball Z live action movie. Yeah. And also, I think he's busy with his rock band too, Marsters. What happened to the DMZ series? That's a good question. So now that so Rosario Dawson was originally cast for DMZ, if I remember correctly. And now she's been cast as Ahsoka Tano in the Disney Plus. Well, she's gonna be in episode 5 of The Mandalorian here. And rumor is that it's spinning off into its own series that Dave Filoni is going to be writing and directing. That's why he isn't on this except for one episode of this season, is because he's off doing he's working on that. And so my guess is the DMZ one is dead in the water. That's my guess. I haven't heard anything about it. It's HBO Max, and also considering that AT&T, Time Warner, whatever they're calling themselves now, has been going through this massive upheaval where they've been firing people left and right and killing shows and cutting back on budgets and stuff like that. I'm sure it's not coming to light anytime soon. Yeah. Supposedly that's what the whole thing is, Stanley. So remember, at the end of Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, um, Ezra ends up going into whatever space with Thrawn, and Ahsoka, Sabine are actually searching for him. They're trying to find him, and this is after the Battle of Endor and all that stuff. We get an epilogue at the end of Rebels, is that she is out there searching with Sabine for Ezra and Thrawn and what happened to them, because they don't know where they went. And so remember, The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after the Battle of Endor. So we're seeing now what Ahsoka and Sabine have been doing. And Sabine has supposedly been cast, and we're going to probably see her in episode 5 as well, if not episode 4. Yes, Thrawn is still alive. I'm fairly sure by at least season 2 or 3, yeah, we'll probably see Ezra. They'll probably find him. Because it'll probably be the search for Ezra the first season. And they probably find him at the end of the first season, or get clues to where he's going to be at, and then find him sometime in the second season. But not in Mando. Yes. This is all speculation, by the way, on my part, but I've been pretty good about plugging into the mind of both Filoni and Favreau, and I can kind of see where that's going. Shia LaBeouf as Ezra. No. He'll do the Darth Vader. No. Padme. No. Oh, fuck. Although the guy from iZombie who played Liv's boss, essentially, he was in the morgue. Fuck, what's his name? Kali Rawl is his name. He wants to play Ezra, and I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea. He actually looks like him, what an adult Ezra would look like, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually not bad. Yeah, for a while there, he pissed off a lot of people saying that that he had been cast secretly, or he alluded to it, and people were pissed. It was pretty funny. It was on Twitter. It was a big thing. It's a couple months ago. Some people were for it, but there were a lot of people that are against it. I don't know. I could actually see him being it. He just needs to shave off the beard. That's all. Stanley Tweedle says, so what will happen next week? Which obstacle will Mando overcome before he finds it? So next week is directed by Carl Weathers, who of course plays Grief Karga. And it's going to be a Cara Dune and Grief Karga episode because we don't know where they have been. We haven't seen them. So this is going to be them hooking up back with Mando again, and basically their adventures that they've been on and how they are going to hook back up with Mando. And most likely, I'm guessing that Sabine Wren might show up at the very end. Excuse me. But I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. Without Mando, yeah, I think it's gonna be. We're gonna get very little Mando in this next episode. Is what we're gonna get. We're still gonna have a story progressing. They might be even after Moff Gideon at this point. They might be trailing Moff Gideon because it would make sense. Yeah, they gotta fucking stop having Baby Yoda eating everything because it's just getting tiring. It really is. Yeah, Marks, I agree with you too. The whole do me a favor before, you help me out with my problem. I just rather he pay it and go, here's 100 credits. Tell me the information I need to know. Great. Thanks. Bye. Penn, no, I've been watching Filoni for so long and how he writes things, and Favreau has learned from Filoni for script writing, I think. Who of course learned from Lucas. They've evolved their styles, of course, too. And just for Star Wars stuff is what I'm thinking that Favreau has learned from. You can kind of extrapolate and see where he's going with this. And when you start giving out little tidbits of like, okay, Carl Weathers is directing the next episode. Okay, great. That means that Grief Karga is going to be in it because why wouldn't you give your actor who is playing that character the episode that you're going to let him direct? Let him direct himself. Do it that way. It's just extrapolating what's going on with what they're doing. I could be completely wrong too, but I'm pretty sure that's where we're going with it. Raymond K. Hessel says, "Do you think Baby Yoda will go through a growth spurt and Harrison Ford on us, go from young to old overnight?" Was Harrison Ford ever young? I mean, he started off in Star Wars at 40 years old, I think is what it was, somewhere around there, or his late 30s at least. I don't know. But no, I don't think Baby Yoda is going to have a growth spurt. But what if he hates himself? Are you talking about Carl Weathers? I mean, he's directing a script. So there's a script that he is given. He's not writing the script, he's just directing. That's all he's doing. So John Favreau has written all the scripts, the majority of the scripts for this season. Dave Filoni wrote episode 5. We know this much. This has been released out into the wild. Popeye says, "I thought Harrison Ford was 29 during Star Wars. I could be he was working as a carpenter in his 30s, and I think he met Lucas when he was installing some cabinetry or something like that, and that's how he got put on. I want to say it was American Graffiti was his first one, if I'm not mistaken, and that's kind of how he met Lucas, and then he went to Star Wars from there. Yeah, so he was in his 30s. Yeah. I remember reading about this long, long ago. And yeah, he was trying to get into acting. He couldn't break through. So he was doing carpentry work for the longest time for a lot of people in like LA and pretty much in California. And then he ended up doing a job for Lucas and carpentry. He brought him on to American Graffiti. And then from there, he went to Star Wars and yeah, everything blew up. Yeah. Was he in Apocalypse Now? Was he just like a background actor or something, Stanley? Or yeah, I don't remember that part, but yeah, because I want to say he was in like his mid to late 30s at the time that he broke into acting and or you know broke it open, which sometimes happens. You know, you get a lot of these actors that sometimes they become really famous, or never tried acting before and then go in like their 40s or something like that and end up becoming these huge deals like Dennis Farina, who passed away, a couple of years ago, probably about a decade ago now. He of course was always playing a cop. He actually was a cop in Chicago, and he was in his, I want to say, late 40s at the time that he kind of broke into it and started becoming really big in films. Yeah. Oh, he gave Sheen the mission brief. Okay, the mission debrief. That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's because Lucas and Coppola know each other. There you go. Yeah. It's been a while since I've watched Apocalypse Now, I'll admit. His scene was cut out of ET as the principal or teacher. Okay. That's right. Lucas was the now that's right. I remember now. Lucas was the AD on Apocalypse. So that's the whole thing is, he knew him from being a carpenter. He knew Lucas from being a carpenter, and that kind of got his foot in the door. And yeah, he started making movies that way. You've never seen Apocalypse Now, Pen? It's a very trippy movie. I don't know where you would go, and I having someone never seen it before and doing the context of it, yeah, it's gonna be a different movie for you. It really will. It's interesting, I'll say that. 3 oh, come on, don't torture her like that, Stanley, just do the theatrical version. Martin Sheen was supposedly drunk off his ass the, whole film and scared the crew. Yeah. Well, Marlon Brando too, I mean, Jesus. Marlon Brando, man, that was when he was really going to the eccentric phase at that point. Yeah. Well, I know I said a little while ago I was gonna let you go, and this time I really am gonna let you go. So, thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. What's going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Monday will be His Dark Materials season 2. I guess I'm gonna be covering that. We'll see how that goes. Tuesday will be an episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's gonna be the Hulu movie Palm Springs. That's right, Palm Springs. I'm gonna be covering that. Wednesday, I'll be off. Thursday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet, but I'll find something. Friday will be The Mandalorian, and we roll back around again to Saturday with Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. And I only talk about it once. I don't go back again and talk about it again. So that's the rewind button is for. Now I have to watch that crap too. You don't have to watch it, Stanley. I am going to be covering it just because there's really nothing to cover. That's and everyone said, "Oh yeah, cover it," and I'm like, "All right, you know what's going to happen if I don't like it? It's just going to turn into a shit fest." But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Rewind. I'm watching 2 times speed. That's right. I talk a lot faster. I think I talk at normal speed if we're on 2 times speed. Right? Is that right, Pen? Yeah. I don't know. That's going to be a good question, Pen. We'll see. See if I even care about it at that point too. I could just be going, wow, this fucking sucks. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, I have episode 1 already, but do I want to watch it? You can find out. Find out if it's something that's for you. I don't know. All right. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Monday for His Dark Materials. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just end up doing a Minnesota goodbye, which you know what a Minnesota goodbye is, right? Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Yeah, it just takes forever. Anyway, thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Monday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and wear a fucking mask. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.